time for your motherfucking neighborhood Jesus, your motherfucking shade the way.
Jesus, take the wheel.
What's good, guys? Sunday, episode 4. So, in the last episode, you saw me do a little bit of disassembly, a little bit of fuel pump hanger removal, the fuel rail, loading up the fuel rail, getting the new Graham's pigtails wired in. There's kind of like a reason behind that. You could have depinned the plugs and just used the stock, wire and, depin these two, the Graham's. Just for sake of, wire length and stuff like that. They should be the same size, but I just figured I'd add a solder in, cut off the old plugs, solder in the new Graham's pigtails, because, I do plan on a Wireworks mil-spec harness in the future, way further down the road, so some people would probably be like, well, dude, you cut up a harness, you could have sold that harness. Not really worried about it, honestly. It's always good to have a backup harness. I'd probably just keep this as a backup, and, this would be I could almost sell this harness to somebody with my injectors if I do plan on going ID 1050Xs instead of Graham 750s. So you could sell the harness and the injectors to somebody. Boom. Problem solved. They're already plug and play ready to go, But, yeah, got all that done. All good to go. Today's project, I need to finish up wiring the fuel pump. Should have already been in episode 3 with the wiring, obviously, but I did need to track down some info on the plug and, tracking down which wire's which. I'm pretty positive I've got it figured out. Blue wire with the black wire, that's fuel pump power and ground. Pretty positive of that, and it goes to a black ground on the plug side, then a yellow wire with a blue stripe. Makes sense to me. So then we've got yellow with black, and we've got a black wire. That's got to be the sending unit power and ground. So we've already done the homework. Shout outs to ChildStar. He helped me out in the last video. I asked around. Not many people were answering me too quickly, and I hit him up within 5 minutes. He hit me back. He's like, yeah, the yellow with the black stripe on the injectors harness, that's your power. So shout outs to you, Carrie. Appreciate it, man. So what we're doing today, we are going to wire up the fuel pump hanger. We are going to test the fuel pump and make sure the wiring's good on that, and test the wiring on this right here. So before I install the pump and before I install the fuel rail, I want to check and make sure I'm getting 12 volts from this and make sure that the fuel pump kicks on and does what it's supposed to do, basically, When I click that key on, you should hear, and if we hear that, we know it's good to go. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And then after that, we will install the fuel rail, get that all under wraps. I've got some, I went to O'Reilly, got some silicone spray. I was out of it. And then we'll install the rail. And then we will also wire in the pigtail connector for the ethanol content sensor. So then, once we do this episode today will get us completely in line for plumbing. That'll be next episode. Plumbing will be next episode. Might even make it part of this episode. Finishing up, this is probably finishing up wiring installation and mocking up our route, our fuel lines and where we're going to put the regulator, etc., etc. But yeah, this is what we got going on for today. I think tomorrow we'll get to plumbing. We'll get to, once we get the regulator mocked up and we get everything tested and make sure we're still on track, everything's good to go, we will start measuring hose length to where it needs to go, stuff like that. It is going to be a bit of a bitch not doing this on a lift. It's not impossible. It's definitely possible, but it's just a little bit of a pain. It's gonna be different. I usually don't do work underneath the car. Anytime I've installed an exhaust or a header, I have a lift. anytime I do anything lower control arms, I have a lift. So doing this is a pretty big job on the ground, but it is not impossible, you know? So, yeah, just keep that in mind. You can do anything you want. Anything's possible. So, I guess let's get to it and wire up this fuel pump hanger, test it out, and we're good to go for the next steps. Be y'all. Guys, I got this bitch all soldered up. I want to test and make sure the connectivity is all there. So, dude, soldering the back of this car fucking sucked. So fucking cramped. I'm getting to be a fat boy. Alright, you guys ready? I'm kind of nervous. The moment of truth. Let's see if a pump turns on. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, it turned on. Yes! Woo! Fuck yes! One more time for the kids at home. Oh my god. Fuck yeah, 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 baby. Oh shit, yeah. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Did you hear that loud motherfucker? Guys. Oh my god. The best feeling in the world when you get it right the first time. Oh my fucking Jeebus. Oh my god. It turned on. It fucking turned on. Let's make sure the float's working. Let's take a quick release off. So where it's sitting right now, it should be on like empty light on. and it's on empty. Let's move it up. Oh, the sending unit's not working. That's not good. Let's see what happens if I hold it up. Nah, sending unit. Fuck. That don't make sense. Not sure on that one, kids. I really don't know. That's the fucked up part, is I know the wires are right. The wires gotta be right. Yellow goes to yellow and black. Well, we'll have to do some homework because the bitch ain't sparking. You know, it's not like it's I'm just not sure. That bitch is loud, by the way. That pump is fucking loud. Fucking going crazy. Going ham wild. Just tuck it, brother. Ethanol content sensor wire. As you can see, white wire is your ethanol content signal. I've got it into the pigtail. Second to the right is white. Makes sense. At least makes sense to me. Could I chop all that slack off? Absolutely. Am I going to? No, I'll just fucking put it up underneath because nobody's going to see it. Then all you got to do is just supply power to the ethanol content sensor once it's plugged in. Got it. Oh yeah, that's a fish's. I fished that bitch through, bitches. I just need to tuck it. Tuck that shit, brother. Not really sure what the hell's wrong with it. I don't know if it's because it's not in the tank in liquid and it's not because the car's on, maybe. I'll have to ask a couple people that are smarter than me. You're gonna have along a road you've never been down. You're gonna have issues. You're gonna have trouble, you know. So I don't think it's anything we aren't gonna work out. We're definitely gonna work it out. What's good, guys? So here we are back out in the garage again. So this is kind of like a continuance of the this is probably under one video. I don't know. I haven't released all the footage yet or anything, but where we're at right now, we tested the fuel pump. Fuel pump works. Sending unit does not. Now we're gonna take our multimeter on ohm setting, and we're gonna see if we're getting any resistance. You know what I mean? Anything. We're gonna see what she's doing. See, keep in mind that this is the fuel pump that just came out of the car, the hanger that just came out the car. The sending unit off the one that's in there right now, that's off either my flood car or a spare junkyard RSX fuel pump hanger. I can't remember. So what we're going to do is we're going to test this one, see what the hell's going on with it. If it's dead, we're going to swap it out. And then from that point, we're pretty much ready to test it and see if the sending unit works, and then install the rail back in. And today we're going to figure out where the hell we're mounting this fuel pressure regulator, because honestly I have no clue. I really don't. So let's get to it. Alright, so ohm meter, I cannot get the ohm meter to work to save my fucking life. But I ran the voltmeter. It's got electricity flowing through it. When I move the wiper up and down, you know, this, when it's all the way up, it's lower voltage, and when it's down, it's higher voltage, which is weird. Alright, so after troubleshooting and contacting a few of my cronies, I'm just going to swap the sending unit over. I'm not going to waste time trying to check the resistance and clean it and stuff. I know this one, or excuse me, I've already got the other sending unit off. The one we know that works. So, need to do that. Need to just swap that over. 2 wires. It's not that bad. I'm just kind of, at this point, I'm just kind of annoyed. Things have slowed down greatly. I think what I'm going to do right quick is install the fuel rail back in. So, let's get to doing that real quick. These motherfuckers are supposed to fit, bro. Take this goddamn rail out. Fucking kidding me. Alright, as you can see, I've got the injectors and the fuel rail all back in. Had a little bit of issues. Fitting the fuel rail was kind of a bitch. See, I talked to Cristo. Cristo's like between Cristo and Cam, I think those are the 2 people I always go to, in case I have, need a second opinion, fucking. And apparently I've been loading fuel rails wrong the whole time. I've never had an issue with it, but what you do is you're supposed to load the injectors, seat the injectors in the manifold first, then seat the fuel rail. Never heard of that before. Not saying it's wrong, but I've always loaded the injectors into the fuel rail, then put the the fucking fuel rail into it, so it's all even. It was kind of a bitch. I sat the injectors in, they went in fine, but then when I was trying to put the fuel rail on, you really got to fight it, you know what I mean? Even with silicone spray, you really got to fight that motherfucker to seat all of them. Kind of have to do it one at a time at an angle. It's kind of weird. But then I was running into an issue where the fuel rail spacers, they didn't want to cooperate. Yeah, that was fucked. Got it all seated now. Basically what you got to do, seat the injectors obviously, but then into the manifold, and then what you do is pull up on the fuel rail side of it a little bit to give you that space, then tighten it down, and as it's tightening it down, it's going to seat those injectors in the rail properly. I've never had an issue with it. I never had a leak unless it was because of a nicked O-ring. The rail is good to go. I have wired on the new sending unit from the car, so I'm really hoping that this is the key to whatever's happening. I really don't get it. New sending unit on, okay? This one we know fucking works. So if I plug this bitch in and this gas gauge doesn't work, it's got to be some kind of quirk. Gotta be, Gina. It's gotta be. I'm just glad the pump works, man. I'd be fine with just like filling up every 200 miles. Just using my odometer, my little trip meter. It's completely unreliable, but let's test it out. Yes! 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 I just held it up. That motherfucker says, goddamn motherfucking full. So let's kick it off. And let's see if it goes to empty. Yes! Yes! So it should say empty right now. No. Well, that's not good. See, now it's stuck on full. That's weird, though. Let's see. Empty? Nope. It says full now. Because I can't start up the car, you know? I might have to make a phone call real quick to somebody real smart. I'm going to disconnect the battery and then put the battery back on and then try it again. And I'm going to leave it on empty and let's see if it goes to empty. Because maybe what's happening is it gets stuck on whatever it initially accessoried onto. You know what I mean? You kick on the key, it reads it the first time, and then it does not re-register it until you start the car up. Maybe. Battery terminal's off. Give it a second. Let me throw the battery terminal back on. So now, I don't know if you guys can see this gas gauge or not. Now, it's on empty. I don't have it on full anymore. So let's see what happens when I kick this bitch on. It should say empty now. And if that's the case, we know everything's fine. Please. Yes! Yes! It works! The theory has been proven. Everyone suck my bing bong. Yes! 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 That's exactly what it is. It's totally dependent on that first reading once we disconnected the battery, so it works fine. We're good to go. Man, I'm glad it at least works. Fuck yeah. I was getting really worried for a second, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. From this point forward, we've done it. We fucking did it. We did it, guys. We figured out the theory. Oh shit, you're smart. Alright, so now that we figured out about the pump hanger, everything's wired correctly, it gets a reading, it's good. I'm going to fucking try and see if we have enough hose before I start putting shit any further.
When you're around, you know what to say. You brighten my day. I feel less crazy when you're around. When you're around.
Fuck, I'm gonna need more hose. It all depends, guys. It all depends. I almost have enough hose. I almost made it work with 10 feet of hose for the Dash 6. Depending on where I'm putting the fuel filter and the feed, that's gonna be interesting. See, I still got, I mean, that might be more like 10 inches of slack. It's about 10 inches of slack. Fuck me. Because it all depends on where we're putting the goddamn regulator, man. The regulator is really the thing that's kicking me in the ass. If you think about it for the future, eventually this groupium and this right here aren't going to be here. I'm going to have ITBs. You know what I mean? So I really should have done all this when I got ITBs. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. Fuck. But as you can see in this episode, you get snags, you get speed bumps, and then you figure them out. And this is no different. This is another speed bump. Where are we putting the regulator? Me personally, I have no fucking clue. I really don't. And clearly, this vacuum line, this vacuum reference point right here, this is from the brake booster. No big deal. We're going to tee into that to give our fuel pressure regulator some, some fucking vacuum reference. If I could fit it right here, almost fit it right here, that'd be decent. That actually might be really decent, actually. The only problem with that is it's so far away from the rail that I'd have to have, well, I might get more hose anyway, but it'd either be that or we're gonna, hey, there's no way to have that. That would get on the throttle cable. That would fuck the throttle cable up. And we can't put it here on this side because of the power steering pump. It's very tricky. It's gonna have to be remote located somewhere. Now, I'm thinking this is the only place we can put this motherfucker. Seriously. It's either right there or it's... No, I can't go right there. It could go... It can barely fit right here. And I'm pretty sure that hose... Oh, that's not a good place for it either. Fuck. It'd either be that or mount it right here on the VIN plate. Not too keen on that because if it leaks, it is literally leaking on a header, which does not sound like a smart idea. My only other options would be, I think this right here is our only bet. I think that's the only thing we can do. Now, as far as can it even make it to this? Yes, it can make it to this. Barely. Just barely. But it's definitely going to need some kind of... It's going to need some kind of special fitting or something, because... Maybe the only option, or... Yeah, it's our only option, right here. And let's see for the feed... Alright, where'd this bitch come out? Oh, shit. That's not a good place for it to come out. Motherfucker might have evidently punctured one of my hoses or something. Oh, fuck me. Well, I think we were both right. I was right that it would make it to the engine bay with only 10 feet of hose. It absolutely makes it more than enough in the fucking engine bay, right? Now, how would I describe it? You guys were, you know, I think Kev said it and a couple other people said it. They were like, you probably need to buy more hose. You're right, I did need to buy more hose. Because it's not just one straight shot. It's, you know, I need to splice in the fuel filter. I need to... There's a lot of shit I need to do. The E85 sensor needs to be taken into accordance. Yep. You're right about that, Genus. You're right about that. Now, as far as the fuel sensor goes, not quite sure where I would mount it or what I'd do with it, but it's a tough call. Me personally, I would see it being smarter to put it underneath the car. I think we should just like delete everything in this car. I'm not even joking. That's kind of where I'm at, kids. Just delete it all. Fuck this. But we're mocking it up. We're getting it, you know. We're figuring it out. Man, I ain't gonna be driving this car for a hot minute. But we did figure out the sending unit. And we did figure out fuel rail issue with the spacers. That's all under wraps. They're in there. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That motherfucker really turned off while I was talking about all that. Wow. See, guys, this is the kind of day I'm having. So I'm not even gonna say all that again. Kind of a speed bump day. You know, we had a couple issues. Sending unit. I think I figured that out. The fuel rail wasn't wanting to sit right with the grams. They're the same size as OEMs, so I had to do a bit of playing with that to make the spacers work. Got that all under wraps. We got to do the regulator. I think I found next to the fuse box down here in the catch can. We're going to have to put it there. It's the only logical place to make this fucker work. Flex fuel sensor, all that shit, yada yada. I'm tired. I'm going to do some more homework. Sorry if this episode wasn't super entertaining. You're going to have episodes like that in the series. You're going to have hiccups. You're going to have speed bumps. We're going to get over it. But I'll catch you guys later. I need some food and sleep. Be y'all.